Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
Yep.
Yeah. How are you today, Lauren?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good today. Kind of ornery, a little bit.
That's different than other days?
Instagram, you'll find us there.
So you mean you're feeling pretty normal?
Instagram, apparently so are you.
Status quo.
Instagram, you'll find us there. Wilder Show Pod, search for that. You'll find us and like it and all that. If you want to send us email podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays at 6 a.m. Central Time or before on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Also on the TikTok now and again. Would you engage with us wherever you find us, whatever platform that is? We are now irritating 66 countries. Okay, half of us are irritating.
Speak for yourself.
Half of us are irritating 66 countries. Not so long ago, it was 33 countries.
Look at that.
Now we are here at 66 countries.
The power of irritation.
That's right, exactly. The spiritual gift of agitation. Do engage. Please like, rate, follow, subscribe, share. When you make a comment, we'll try and return that comment or a thumbs up. I like the pushback. It doesn't bother me. It's all good. These are all good conversations, I think. And why can't we all just get along? I like to be able to just talk about things and maybe have a different perspective, but to still be able to be friends. You know, at the end of it, it doesn't ever come to blows. And when you're a boy, when you have brothers, you can be out back and you can wrestle around and tackle each other and really mess around with each other. And then, 20 minutes later, you're watching a baseball game together, eating popcorn or playing video games. Not a big deal. I like those days where you don't have to hold hate, so closely. I can hold it a bit away from me. Hate.
Hold it loosely.
Yeah, I like to let it go. Let's get along where we can and not be so tribal. And we'll talk about that a little bit today. So like, rate, follow, subscribe, share, engage, comment, tell us what you love about Lauren and hate about me. It's okay. It's all good. I'd argue if I could, Mrs. Enright.
Remind me what that's from.
It's a thing from Seinfeld where George is at some place and the mother of the girl he's dating is fawning over him and saying, oh, George, you are just so whatever it was. And he would say, I would argue if I could, Mrs. Enright.
I heard you just say, I've heard you say this many times, and I heard you say it recently. I don't think it was here on the podcast, but it was an opportunity. I had no opportunity in that moment to share this information with you that you probably already know. You said something about the agitator in the washing machine and the purpose that serves. Yeah. And, if there were no agitator, you wouldn't be able to get the clothes clean. Most washing machines don't have agitators anymore. There are the front loaders that they've been making for a long time that don't have agitators. But I was at my son's recently. I'd heard tell of these modern machines that don't have agitators in them anymore. But they have a washing machine that is new-ish, maybe a year or two old, and it is a top loader, like a traditional washing machine, no agitator in it.
It's got to do something to shake the stuff off.
Well, I guess the tub still moves around. I mean, I washed clothes in it, and they came out. I mean, they seemed clean.
Interesting.
To me.
That's
but
interesting.
Yeah, no agitator.
Gosh, what am I going to do with my spiritual gift?
Got to find a way to make yourself useful.
We've talked about Trump cards before, the various isms, how people like to play those cards to shut down dissent, or really even conversation about things, playing the race card. The trans card, the women's card. If you oppose a policy that is being proposed by a black person, it must be that you hate black people. That must be what the deal is. So we don't have to actually have a conversation about policy. Or if you oppose something a woman proposes, it's a different card, the sexism charge, but same result. It shuts down the conversation. Same thing with gay or trans. Same thing with Israel, by the way. We're seeing more and more of that.
I mean, if you're on the other, if you have a differing opinion, you must be an anti-Semite.
That is right. The card that is often played is to shut down a question or to shut down dissent. Well, there are actually two Trump cards when it comes to Israel. The big one is the one you mentioned. It's obvious. It's for the general public. It's the anti-Semitism card. If you oppose a policy of the country of Israel, it must be that you hate Jews, which, of course, would be anti-Semitism by definition,
Sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is one of Israel's cards that can be played to tamp down dissent or shut down the conversation completely. The other card that Israel plays is one specifically for Christians.
Mm.
And it's the God's chosen people
Right.
card, the Genesis 12:3 card. This is the card that is played against Christians. And the thought is, you're a Christian, you believe in the Bible. In the Bible, God told you to bless Israel. So, do it. Look, I'm opposed to racism. I'm opposed to sexism, all the isms. I'm opposed to anti-Semitism, opposed to all of them. But we should be able to have a conversation about the policy being proposed by a black person without being called a racist. You don't get a pass. You don't get a blank check because you're in one of these protected categories. So you don't have to defend your position. You should be able to defend your position.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a woman, you make a proposal, defend the position. Don't suggest that when push comes to shove, when it gets really tough, you can play the misogyny card. Defend your position, whatever your position is. Your ideas still have to rise or fall on the merits of the idea. That's the way it's supposed to be, not on who proposes them or whether they have the trump cards that they can play. We shouldn't have to worry about, is it being offered by the right person?
In theory, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I have two things, two questions, really. Do you think sometimes that the people who hold the belief, whether it's you use the example of a black person or a woman, I think in a lot of cases, if somebody who's offering an opinion, they want it to be considered on the merit of who they are, not their gender or the color of their skin.
I do believe that.
They're not trying to play a race card or a sex card.
Totally.
It's in the hands of those people who are, behind them and sort of, wanting the same things to be, on their side. Mm-hmm. So they'll try to shut down anybody who's on the other side with those arguments.
Yeah. In fact, most people understand that if you have an idea that you really believe in, you don't want it to be accepted just because they are patting you on the head.
Exactly.
You really believe in your idea. You want it to be accepted on its own merits. Mm-hmm. One of the challenges is if you really, really believe in your idea, and if you're hitting a brick wall and you think, okay, I've done all the things that I can do merit-wise, and I still can't get their attention. Is there another thing I could do? Is there a card I could play to get this pushed through? Sometimes people, maybe not that person, but people who want those things done would play those cards.
Unfortunately, too, historically, there, for a very long time, some people might say this still exists in certain areas. It was impossible for you to be taken seriously by certain people if you were a woman. I can't. I've never been a black person. I can't speak on their behalf, but I would say that you would probably hear the same thing.
Sure. I think it's true.
From anybody in that community that you make it sound like it. All I have to do is defend my ideas. Sometimes you could certainly do that and still meet a brick wall of resistance that was based on the color of your skin or your gender or whatever.
But let me get to my other thing, because I think we have a bigger, more insidious trump card that we now have to deal with, and it's the actual trump card, capital T.
Yeah,
it's the Donald Trump card. That if you want to have a conversation about anything, if you oppose anything or even question something, it must mean that you hate him. It is the way that unthoughtful people seek to win arguments. They can't make their case, or their case actually can't be made or doesn't exist. So you play the trump cards. This is what we've said is the problem. This is the tribalism that is killing us, and it has morphed into something different. We should be able to disagree without being told that we're evil. And it's like when the Dems are calling Republicans evil, all Dems are okay with that. When Republicans are calling all Dems evil, Republicans are okay with that. But here's where we are today. What happens when a Democrat has a question about their own side? What about a Democrat that says, I'm not sure I'm still pro-choice like I used to be? We know more now than we used to. Now, that Democrat inside that group with that mentality is shut down. Or maybe they disagree about men and women's sports. Then you have Dems calling Dems evil. If you don't wear the ribbon, let's go back to Seinfeld again, who won't wear the ribbon? If you don't wear the ribbon, you're a hater. It doesn't matter that you're doing the AIDS walk. It doesn't matter that you're contributing to the cause. You have to wear the ribbon. You're not on board if you're not wearing the ribbon. What if a Republican who supports, many conservative causes, but maybe they're nervous about a war of choice, or nervous about feeling we're being led into a war by another country, that it's really their war. It's not really our war. Not really. I mean, now it may be because now we have a big mess, but then you have some Republicans calling other Republicans evil. And this is where we're going if we have not already arrived there. When we are comfortable calling others evil, ultimately it's going to mean down the road, some of us calling us evil. And it's wrong. We should be able to talk about all these things and reason through them, not be shut down by people who can't or won't make their case. Smart people can talk. Smart people can reason. Smart people are interested in the back and forth. It's the weak people that use trump cards, dumb people who don't want the conversation. And that leads me to Pete Hegseth and Paula White and others. There's a lot of talk right now about almost holy war talk. It's a holy war. And I think there are several dangers about it. It makes it very difficult to have a reasonable conversation about any of it. Sort of like the bumper sticker, except applying it to the president. God said it, I believe it, that settles it. Okay, that's great when it's God. But it's almost like Trump said it, I believe it, that settles it. Which is funny for a guy who denies the infallibility of the Pope, which I concur, but the Pope is fallible, but the president isn't. Hegseth talking about the war like a holy war, it makes me very, very uncomfortable. Now, I am a proud father of a son who's serving the military. I'm proud of the military, proud of the professionalism of the military, carrying out missions they've been given. They are clearly the best. None is better in the whole world, but that has nothing to do with whether or not we should be critical thinkers or even critical in the actual decision about going to war. So Hegseth reflects, this is just yesterday. Hegseth was reflecting on his being in church over the last weekend and what his pastor had to say. And of course, the story is about Jesus, and it reminds him of someone. Who do you think it reminds him of? He says the press that is critical of the president, they're like the Pharisees. And he tells the story of how the Pharisees viewed Jesus. So if the press are the Pharisees, who is Jesus? Here's what he said just yesterday morning in a press briefing at the Pentagon. And remember, Hegseth kicked out all the reporters who wouldn't sign their purity pledge and wear the promise ring. So he's not getting the same kind of questions because those people had their press passes revoked, or they gave them up because they didn't believe in signing on to that kind of thing. And by the way, that included Fox News, for those who believe, Fox News would still be in the room. No, they also said, no, this is not right. Here's what Hegseth said yesterday. As I can't help but notice the endless stream of garbage, the relentlessly negative coverage, you cannot resist peddling. Despite the historic and important success of this effort and the success of our troops, sometimes it's hard to figure out what side some of you are actually on. He compared the journalists, as I said, to Pharisees. He said he drew inspiration. The sermon was on Sunday, biblical passage depicting Jesus healing a man on the Sabbath, which the Pharisees came to watch. Does that sound familiar? Healing? Trump Jesus with the flowing Jesus robe and the glowing Jesus hands, healing the sick man.
Yeah.
Here's how he compared reporters to Pharisees. He says, the Pharisees, the so-called self-appointed elites of their time, they were there to witness, to write everything down, to report. But even though they witnessed a literal miracle, it didn't matter. They were only there to explain away the goodness in pursuit of their agenda. Okay, so we'll come back to some of this, but that talk makes me very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because what it really suggests is this is a godly pursuit. And if you don't like it, take it up with God.
You must not be on God's side.
I'm telling you, man, that is a very dangerous way of thinking. Speaking of dangerous way of thinking, Paula White, so-called pastor, spiritual advisor to the president. Others have said other things about her. Trinity-denying heretic. Russell Moore, Southern Baptist theologian, referred to as a charlatan. Michael Horton, professor, Westminster Seminary, California, written on her many theological errors. Shay Lynn, a Christian rapper, criticized her in the song False Teacher. Anyway, as of February of 25, Paula White Cain is the senior advisor to the president, and she's in charge of the White House Faith Office. She has an office in the White House in the West Wing. And there's a bunch of backlash for what she said leading up to Easter. I mean, all these things are so close to each other. Leading up to Easter, she likens the president to Jesus. On Easter, the president puts out the profanity-laden text about opening the strait. Then later, the meme of himself as Jesus. Mm-hmm. You have, within a week, you have Pete Hegseth talking about the president as if the president is Jesus and the press are the Pharisees. Anyway, what Paula White did, here's what she said, leading up to Easter. Jesus taught so many lessons through his death, burial, and resurrection. He showed us great leadership. Great transformation requires great sacrifice, said Paula White Cain. And Mr. President, she said to him, off to her right, no one has paid the price like you have paid the price. It almost cost you your life. You were betrayed and arrested and falsely accused. It's a familiar pattern that our Lord and Savior showed us. But it didn't end there with him, and it didn't end there for you. God always had a plan. On the third day he rose. He defeated evil. He conquered death, hell, and the grave. And because he rose, we all know that we can rise. And sir, because of his resurrection, you rose up. And I believe the Lord said to tell you this, because of his victory, you will be victorious in all you put your hands to.
Yikes.
I'm telling you, man, that is what he was told before he posted the thing that he says he thought it was him as a doctor. All right, which brings me to Franklin Graham, and I love Franklin Graham. But I use him only because he's the only one on that commission. He's the only one on that advisory board that has come out and said anything. All these other people that, are seen praying with the president, they have had nothing to say.
Nope.
They haven't been critical. They haven't defended it. It's almost like I'm only going to post pictures on my social media feed when my team wins. I'm never going to post, they played a hard game, but we felt we came up short. I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to talk about the wins. So I'm not going to talk about the stuff that the president did that was clearly wrong. Not going to do that. And here is what he said, and I don't find it believable. He said he does not believe the president knowingly depicted himself as Jesus in the now famous and now deleted post on social media. And he dismisses the backlash as overblown. I'm not saying the backlash couldn't be overblown. That could be true. But it also is true that there is no way the president didn't know that was which doctors have fire coming out of their hands, which doctors heal people by placing their hand on the ailing person's head, which doctors have a glow behind them, which doctors wear a robe and a sash, which doctors do that. Here's what Franklin Graham said, what he wrote on X. When I look at the illustration, I don't jump to the same conclusion as some. There were no spiritual references, no halo. There were no crosses, no angels. It was a flag, soldiers, a nurse, fighting planes, eagles, the Statue of Liberty. And I think this is a lot to do about nothing. He called the condemnation ill-intended speculation. Okay.
I think if any of the symbols were missing, it's only because whoever did that, whoever instructed the AI, didn't know enough about what Jesus is actually like to tell it what to add to make him really look like Jesus.
So if the picture of the president were the same, when we did the talk show, which by the way was our anniversary of starting the talk show was April 15th. So that was this week. So I always like to say, I'm just going to take your position. You tell me what your thoughts are, and we'll begin there. So we're going to take Franklin Graham's position. Franklin Graham says that the depiction of the president itself did not make him think that that was a Jesus figure. Okay. Because it didn't have the cross and angel, whatever.
No
okay.
halo, no
halo.
cross, no angels. I think those are the things.
In the robe with the sash and the glow behind his head and the hands that had Jesus fire coming out of Trump hands, that was not enough to make you think it was a Jesus figure. So if that same depiction were put in a different setting, let's say it was in a field with real sheep, Franklin Graham would say, why is this doctor with all these sheep? Or if that same character had a sheep around his neck with broken legs, he would say, wow, this doctor must be a vet.
He must be, yeah.
It's not credible. It really isn't credible. It would have been better had he said nothing, honestly, than to come to the defense of the president. Because you know why? Because it hurts his credibility. As I think it hurts other people's credibility. When you are incapable or unwilling to be critical of people that you have supported when they are wrong, that's a you problem. If you can only be critical of the people you didn't support when they are wrong, and can only be supportive of the people that are right when they're people you supported. So you can't acknowledge people that you didn't support when they are right, and you will never acknowledge the people that you did support when they are wrong. That's a you problem. You have a problem, and you lose credibility. Now, the real challenge for some people is that when you're a political pundit and you lose credibility, that's tough. People might not believe you anymore about your political punditry. But what if you have a different legacy? What if you have a more important legacy? What if your political pushes that you do and the support is because of your deep desire as a spiritual person? Can you lose credibility for the things that you do on the political side? Can you lose that credibility on the side that arguably is the more important side? I think you can. And I think some people have. Before we get to Scattershoot, we've said that, if you send us questions, we'll see what we can do. I have gotten some questions, and we used to talk on the radio about come find me on my break when I'm a greeter at Walmart, and I'll tell you everything. And it's not that I believe that people that go to Walmart care about my thoughts. It's more that would be in my, my latter days.
Yeah.
And I'll spill. I'll spill the tea.
Very good.
So you'll come find me. And there are still things like that. A bunch of things like that. And really one of them is sort of part of this, but I'm gonna partially answer. The question is, what do I think? What do we think? I'm not gonna put you on it because I don't want to bring you negative.
Okay.
I want people to still like you. What do I think about the whole Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk thing? I think what they said was, would love to hear your thoughts, to which I think I told you earlier, I'm not sure you would.
A lot of them.
I'm not sure you would, really. Sorry. This might fall into that category of someday when I'm a greeter at Walmart, I'll tell you everything. Let me say what I can say, what I'm willing to say. I don't buy the narrative. I don't think it was Tyler Robinson. I know he wasn't shot and killed by a 30-06 round. No question about that. I don't believe Tyler Robinson will be found guilty and spend most of the rest of his life in prison because I don't believe there will be a trial through to sentencing. If there is a trial at all, I'll tell you more at Walmart someday. There are things like this I've said about the president that I'm not going to put on the podcast. And I told you the other day, I said, look, I can't possibly say that. But when it comes true, Lauren, you're my witness.
I will be your witness.
All right. And one more imponderable. I can't believe that Monday we didn't talk about the splashdown. We had the Artemis splashdown that happened on Friday after the last podcast had dropped, and we never even talked about it. I watched it. It was interesting, the whole thing. But I did have this thought as I was watching it along the way in that 10 days or whatever it was. Do you know how many satellites are spinning around in it's called low Earth orbit, LOE, low Earth orbit? You've seen a picture before where it looks like There are spikes all
It
around
has to be
this.
so many.
Do you know how many it is?
I don't.
12 to 13,000.
Wow.
And that doesn't include the objects that are dead. Sometimes those satellites don't live forever.
Uh-huh.
When you do that, it's over 14,900, almost 15,000 things that are floating up there. Now, 13,000 of those are active. Another 2,000 of those are dead. That means all 15,000 would be in the way. You have to navigate around them, right?
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
I mean, you can't just say, I'm going to go into space.
Sure.
You know, it's like, no, we got to get past this. But here's my question. I was looking just today at the satellite images, satellite pictures of Iran digging out uranium or whatever.
Yeah.
They're digging up there in the mountains. And here they are. And these pictures were taken yesterday. They were taken yesterday by a satellite. Yeah. One of the trillion satellites that are over the Earth. Isn't it weird we didn't see any pictures from a satellite of Artemis as it was going through and past on its way to the moon?
I mean, it sounds like it's weird when you say that, but I wouldn't have thought about that had you not brought it up.
I don't understand. I mean, it seems to me, why wouldn't we haven't been back in 50 whatever years? We're so excited to get back to the moon. Wouldn't we want every possible thing documented? We have so much better photography now than we did before. We have so many more satellites above the Earth than we did. I don't even know when we had our first satellite. In 1969, I don't know how many satellites we had, but now they're everywhere. They're everywhere. So it seems to me two things. We would see lots and lots of, hey, here's a picture of it going right through low Earth orbit by the XYZ satellite. And here's another satellite. And this is secured by the U.S. military. And here's how it's doing that. And then the other thing is, why were the shots that we saw of the astronauts mainly, or maybe really only, of them crammed in this little dorm room? Why wasn't a camera permanently facing out to show all the things that you could see all the time? No, let's just get a picture of her hair floating, and then behind that you'll see, the Earth, and that's enough. No, it's not enough. I don't get it. It seems to me after all this time and all those things, I'm amazed. If I believe there are 13,000 satellites, active satellites spinning around, the world. I just think it's remarkable we didn't hit one of them. Seems to me, number one, all those things, including the dead ones, that's almost 15,000, would be a risk that we might bump into. And then the 13,000 that are active, seems to me some of them might have we know they have cameras because we see what we're seeing now.
Have you done any research on maybe why why we didn't get any pictures? Because you are a skeptic by nature.
Sometimes, but my job is just to ask the question. Oh, it is time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show, Scattershoot. All right. Oh, one thing I meant to mention in the first part.
What's that?
Have you seen the latest on, and it really may be out by the time this drops, the latest about Savannah Guthrie's mom?
Have not.
Okay. Not yesterday, but day before, Savannah Guthrie was on the Today Show. She's come back, came back the day after Easter. She was interviewing Anne Hathaway.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so she's interviewing Anne Hathaway. They go to a break, and she's not there anymore.
Savannah Guthrie's not there anymore?
Hoda Kotb is finishing the thing. They didn't even say what the deal was, but she left in the middle of not just the middle of a show.
In the middle of an interview?
In the middle of an interview.
Do we know why?
There's a thought that there's something going on with her mother's case. And that will be coming out maybe by the time this drops. The Friday drop of the Wilder Show podcast.
So they didn't even mention?
Didn't. I think it may have been a deal like she stands up and freaks out, gets an assistant tells her, so-and-so is on the phone, and she takes a call during the break and says, I got to go.
Yeah.
And Hoda, ever standing by, Hoda is there to finish.
Wow.
I guess maybe Hoda still does the 10 o'clock thing or the third hour, the fifth rail. Or whatever it's called.
I don't think she does. I mean, maybe
she was there. She was there.
Yeah, maybe she was sitting in for somebody.
Maybe. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Well, that's morning television. Speaking of mornings, there's one thing that gets me out of bed every morning.
What's that?
And this has been true for a long, long, long time. My coffee.
Coffee.
The promise of coffee.
Yeah.
That is the first thing I do.
Is that right?
I mean, I get out of bed and I walk
straight to the.
I pet the dog.
Coffee machine.
Briefly, and I walk straight to the coffee machine.
I don't. I enjoy a cup of coffee, but it's I usually have maybe one cup of coffee before I leave. Put it in a travel mug or whatever, my Yeti, and take off. But I don't. I kind of am a bit envious of your relationship with. That I don't have a relationship like that with coffee.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, really that I'm envious, or really that I don't?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what there is about that to be envious of.
Oh, I don't know. Just something special in your life.
It as much.
I don't. It tastes good. It serves a purpose, and that's what I need from it.
Well, I think I might be doing it wrong. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you, I mean, I'm going to tell you all of this and then, I'll spoiler, I'm not going to change anything.
Oh, I don't want
to
change.
But I might be doing it wrong.
Sure, no.
Do you brush your teeth before you drink your coffee?
Now, that is a really good question. I don't like the way coffee tastes if I drink coffee after I've brushed my teeth.
That's a problem.
But I usually drink coffee when I'm on the road. So I always... Unless it's like if I'm not going somewhere, someday when I'm just not, I'm not leaving the house, in which case I would brush my teeth after I drink coffee.
Yeah.
But because when I drink coffee, I have to brush my teeth. So I brush my teeth before I drink coffee and get a cup of coffee for the road, and that's it. Probably a lot of people do both. I mean, have one cup in the morning and then brush your teeth, and then have another cup maybe on the way to wherever you go. But for me, I brush my teeth first and then get coffee as I'm screeching out of the driveway.
I'm going to turn to the audience for a second. Is this fascinating yet? Because I don't want to keep going unless it's really fascinating.
Notice she asked that questions after I've spoken.
No. So, I'm going to continue now. Somebody told me a long time ago, and there might be a lot of different schools of thought on this. I don't know. And maybe a lot of people don't even really care. But somebody told me a long time ago, and I've been thinking I was doing a good job based on this, that if you shouldn't brush your teeth first, because everything that piles up on your teeth overnight that makes you wake up and feel like your teeth are full of little sweaters, that protects your teeth from the staining. So
really?
I thought I was doing a really good job.
That's interesting.
But apparently that is not true.
Okay.
Ideally, you should be brushing your teeth before you drink the coffee.
There you go.
Now, not just before you drink the coffee.
No, yeah.
Let me start at the beginning. So if you brush before you drink your coffee, it removes the plaque and creates a cleaner surface. And that's what actually helps reduce the staining.
Okay. That's cool.
Seems it seems counterintuitive.
Yeah,
it seems like you'd want something on them to protect from the staining. But if you get rid of all that plaque, that's what helps reduce the staining.
Okay.
But you shouldn't drink your coffee immediately after brushing because the acids from the coffee can temporarily soften the enamel, which makes them more vulnerable to wear. So ideally, you should brush your teeth first thing in the morning to get rid of all the plaque and all of the bacteria and everything that could have formed overnight. Yeah. And then if possible, wait 30 minutes to drink your coffee.
Okay.
That's the most beneficial to allow for enamel to reharden. That is not going to happen.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I've gotten to this point and I'm still...
You're going to stick with it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with it. I don't know. There's even more. Our teeth have tiny pores. Yeah. So repeated exposure to things like coffee, and red wine and things like that too, and certain teas too can cause staining to get into these pores. And so dentists say, try to enjoy your coffee all in one sitting and not sipping it throughout the day. That might be helpful too.
Late in the day, I was still drinking a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Third cup, I guess.
I guess I don't sip throughout the day as much as I used to, but I don't sit down and have
it and then be done.
One cup of coffee and then just be done. It's too good. I get too much enjoyment out of it. I need to stretch it out through the rest of the day. Another thing they suggest is maybe find an alternative to coffee, like water. Which is ultimately the best choice for your teeth.
Well,
and again, I like my water, but
with
I'm not
coffee,
getting.
I like my water strained through coffee.
I love water. My favorite way to drink water is
strained
through a coffee grounds.
Yeah. The other thing about brushing teeth, I've found is with orange juice.
Ooh.
If you like orange juice, when you brush your teeth around the drinking of orange juice, can really. It's not a good taste.
Yeah.
I don't think.
You know what else is not good? I can't, if I'm having coffee with breakfast, an apple can't be a part of my breakfast.
Oh, why is that?
I don't know. It just makes the coffee taste not very good.
Really?
Something about the apple. Just now we've hit fascinating.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
The apple was with a threshold.
I'm sure of it. Do you know what Allbirds are? Have you heard of Allbirds?
The shoes.
I think maybe when we were traveling once, you might have we might have been
went into an Allbirds store,
retail outlet.
Because when I first saw them, they're like popular shoes. Certain people, younger people is what I mean. Popular shoes.
Yeah,
I think they had the slip-on kinds that a lot of people like.
All kinds,
like Skechers. Yeah, all kinds. But but I think it was a younger crowd, younger than me. I mean,
apparently they were really a favorite with the Silicon Valley.
There you go.
Tech.
There you go.
Kids.
Yeah, the tech guys.
Yeah.
But for a while it seemed like the only place that I knew you could get them was like online. But there were retail places. Maybe they were West Coast. And when we were in Seattle, went to it, and it was great. I mean, I didn't buy any, but they were cute, good looking.
Pricey.
A little pricey.
A little pricey.
It would have gone good with some of my outfits.
I'm sure they would have. I think I was just in one last fall in California, but they've gone out of business.
Allbirds has gone out of business?
Yeah, they closed all their retail outlets.
The heck?
And I thought that what I read at first was that you'd still be able to get them online. They just weren't going to, expanded too quickly or something like that. And
that's what I was
They were just going to change the model, change the way that they sell them. But apparently, it's not that. They're making a bigger pivot than that. Allbirds announced earlier this week that they're going to be pivoting to focus on AI compute infrastructure.
Wait, hold on a second. So because they've been so successful...
I don't think that they were that successful with the shoes.
Oh,
I don't think so. They were a very trendy shoe among the tech elite, as we mentioned, but they failed to capitalize on their start to become a major player in the shoe market. Company's share price declined steadily last summer, and then earlier this year, Allbirds closed all of its full-price retail stores in the U.S., and that as we thought, they were shifting completely to online sales.
Oh, that's okay.
But then last month, they sold its brand. Allbirds sold its brand and footwear assets to a management and licensing firm for $39 million.
Oh, that's kind of cheap.
And then they shifted completely to this AI.
So what are they going to do? What are they going to do with AI? What is that?
I'm not the right one to ask. They're changing their name to Newbird AI.
Newbird AI.
They struck a $50 million agreement to fund the new venture. I mean, I can tell you what they're going to do, but I can't really tell you what it means.
Well, give me a sentence.
They're going to use that initial capital to buy high-performance, low-latency graphics processing units. That's the hardware that powers AI capabilities, which we know as GPUs. And they're going to do that to try to expand long-term as a GPU as a service and AI native cloud solutions provider. They lost me way at the beginning of that sentence, but that's probably why they're going to make $1 gazillion from this, and I have no idea what it means. But it did make me wonder, if you can be selling shoes one day
and do the next thing,
and working on AI basically the next day. I mean, maybe it didn't happen that fast,
Right.
but pretty quickly. If they just closed the storefronts,
take your expertise from one
earlier
thing
this year.
Yeah, one thing and then shove it into something else.
Yeah, like what could we be doing tomorrow? Or I'll give us 30 days. What could we be doing next month? What could
That's a
we
good
turn
question.
what could we turn our
attentions toward?
Our attentions toward. Yeah.
Well, I could help with space travel, as we've already talked about.
That's true. That's true. You have lots of good ideas about female anchors.
Well, I could be a consultant. I can help with the clothing,
on
the clothing,
news
the hair,
Yeah.
on the news channels. I can. People don't know we're in the middle of taping something, and I'll just look over and say, her hair needs help. That's she's still doing that with her hair. I like that jacket.
Mm-hmm. Or that outfit. That outfit doesn't go good against that background.
That's right.
It doesn't work with that background.
Lavender looks good on her. Things like that.
Yeah.
But see, those are helpful things.
Yeah,
I could help with that. Yeah,
we could do that.
Be consultants, I think. Be consultants on that. Speaking of shoes, though.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we had PF flyers. Did you ever have PF flyers?
That sounds familiar, but
No.
I don't think I ever had them.
Let me tell you, they weren't. I think they were the Huffy bikes to the Schwinn's.
Okay.
In other words, they weren't the high end sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
So you had like what's the one that was the basketball one that everybody had? Converse. Everybody had the Converse.
I do remember.
The Converse All Stars, right? With the ankle ones or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had PF
High tops.
High tops.
Mm-hmm.
They had PF flyers.
Mm-hmm.
And PF flyers, I had PF flyers.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved PF flyers.
Yeah.
PF flyers has made a comeback.
They have.
Somebody has bought them, and they are out now.
Wow.
And I really think I will buy some PF flyers. I mean, some frou-frou group, bought it, Tech Bros or somebody, and they're making it cool again.
I had to look up PF flyers.
Oh, it's so cool. They're very, very cool. PF flyers.
Oh, yeah, I see them.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was a kid, man, PF flyers. And they had a little thing on the back. I don't know if they still do it or not. On the back, on the heel, on the rubber part, the sole, there's a little PF flyers.
Like where you'd have Keds?
It is like that.
Or Converse?
Yeah, exactly.
Or that's where okay.
It would be like a license plate on the back of your foot.
There are a lot to choose from.
No, I know.
You could get a really nice pair of shoes.
Yeah, they're really, really good. I'm a huge fan of PF flyers. I need to get me some. And I think somebody bought them and it's like you can't buy Bama preserves anymore.
No.
There's no more Bama plum jam. It doesn't exist. You can't buy it. It's nowhere. Somebody bought them and shut them down. Mm-hmm. They were gobbled up by Pepperidge Farm.
Maybe so.
Or what's the other one?
Smuckers.
Yeah. There's really only Smuckers and Pepperidge Farm. And then you have some of the other brands that are,
There's another one
labels.
that I really like, and I can't remember. I can't remember what the brand of
I swear.
is, but it's good.
The best plum jam ever was the Bama plum jam.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had it.
Golly, a Bama plum jam on beer biscuits with real butter. Come on over. With your coffee. It'd be good.
Is anybody still making plum jam?
It'd be good. Yeah, you can get it. It's hard to find. Yeah. But you can get it at, I've thought about making my own plum jam. But I've been busy with my TV woman consulting and also
consulting.
Yeah, wardrobe consulting, and then also with my space stuff. Yeah. That I'm helping them figure out, hey, why don't you point some cameras toward the spaceship? Since we haven't done this in 50 years, take a picture or two. You can look past it to the war and where Iran is digging in the tunnels. Maybe you would catch, the spaceship. Next time we, in 50 more years when we go to the.
One more thing on PF flyers.
Yeah.
Doing a little research as we speak on PF flyers.
Yes.
Founded in 1937 by B.F. Goodrich.
That's right. Yeah.
One of the original American sneaker brands.
That's right.
They're owned by Cassia Designs now, purchased from, I think, they were a part of New Balance. as recently as 2021, and New Balance shut it down, and Cassia purchased.
Yeah, I think New Balance, because it had been dead for a long time, and I think New Balance had owned it, and they weren't
Didn't
doing
do anything with
no.
it.
And then, but I'm glad to see it come back. I loved my PF flyers,
Very good.
loved them. I have to give me some.
One more thing about AI. I was fed an Instagram post yesterday by someone. It was posted by someone that I do not follow, and it was Reese Witherspoon. And Reese Witherspoon
That's funny.
was telling me just yesterday that she would help me learn about AI. Honestly, for a moment, I thought it might be AI, but it wasn't. It was actually Reese Witherspoon in her kitchen. It had the little check mark. It was verified.
Okay.
She was in her kitchen. I think it was her kitchen. She was making a smoothie, and she was telling me and all of the women of my age who follow her that she was with her book club just recently.
Okay.
And she asked all of them how many of them use AI.
Okay.
And she said only 3 of them said that they did, which led her to believe that 70% of these women, so probably 70% of all women are not. They don't know anything about AI.
Okay.
Not
She's
comfortable
helping women.
using
Okay.
AI, or not interested in using AI.
Yeah.
And so while she made her smoothie, she suggested that she might help those of us who are falling behind the curve to catch up.
Okay.
That she can't, because she said, if you know what I've found in my lifetime is that if you don't jump onto these things right away and start learning, that by the time you need to learn about it just to be caught up, you're so far behind that you'll never get caught up. But I thought, so first of all, she's a creative.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't she somebody who's supposed to be against?
This is what we talked about from the beginning about AI, whether it's AI music or whatever. At some point, it will have to be embraced as an assistant.
Yeah.
It's going to be an assistant for your life in this way, or scheduling or whatever. I read something to you the other day that somebody had posted, and at the end of it, they had forgotten to take out the part that was the prompt from ChatGPT. It said something like, if you would prefer, I can make it more this and more conversational, or, you know, it would be like
longer or shorter.
Yeah.
Or,
it's like, if you're going to use it, at least don't include that thing at the end where it says, would you now like me to make it into a Venn diagram?
That makes it so obvious.
It's like, really? So you're not.
It, yeah.
When you write a love letter, would you like it to be sappier? I can do that. Just let me know.
Anyway, I think for learning in general, or help in general, Reese Witherspoon probably would not be my go-to. Yeah. And I don't know how this is going to work. Yeah. I don't know if she's going to do like an Instagram series where she helps, bring us all into the
or that may have been it.
AI
she's trying
generation.
to tell ladies to get it together. I agree with one thing she's saying, and that is, if you're going to learn something, learn it when you can play with it.
Yeah.
Don't learn it when you need it for work. If it's a Word document or if it's something else, just play with it. Make mistakes, do something, undo it, fix it, edit it, save it as, do it again, copy it, delete it, duplicate it, all those things, so that when you need those skills, you already have them. That's what I would say. So I agree with her about that. But I wouldn't even know how to say, hey, ladies, who here uses AI? So what do you mean by that? What do you mean who uses AI? Sometimes you're using AI, you don't even know
That
it.
was the first thing that occurred to me.
All of our emails, if you have an email program, it's already using AI. You don't even know it. I think at the top of some of them where it says, you want a synopsis of this? You click on that, it gives you a synopsis. Or the thing it says, here's a thing to follow up on.
Yeah.
I didn't tell it to tell me that. That's AI saying, hey, you had an email from Eric. Did you get him that stuff? I didn't tell it to do that. So even people who think they're not using AI are probably using AI. They just don't know it.
A couple of things that I've noticed recently, and I know I sound like a really old person when I say this. 2 books that I've read recently. I've had an occasion to go and look something up because there was either something from that I wanted an explanation. I wanted to try to find a little bit more information. Either it was one of them was a book that I'd read a long time ago, and I was trying to get some clarification on the way something had happened. And there was a synopsis of the book that it was AI generated.
Sure,
it was wrong. It was wrong on a few of the things that I really remembered clearly from the book.
Yeah, I saw something the other day. It was talking about medical diagnoses. I mean,
I heard that too.
It was unbelievable. It was like 80% of the time it was wrong. Yeah, it's going to get better, but know what to use it for. Know what you don't want to use it for, I think.
Good news for Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, little Timmy.
There is someone who is happy with his, you remember when everybody was giving him such a hard time?
Ballet, nobody cares anymore. The opera and the ballet.
The opera and
dying
ballet,
art
dying
form.
arts, yeah.
Dying art form. Nobody cares. I don't want to be doing
Timmy.
ballet or opera. Something nobody cares about anymore.
It wasn't said with quite as much vitriol there as you inflected it with there. But Alex Beard, who's the chief executive of the Royal Ballet and Opera, he said the public reaction was fantastic.
Of course it was.
He said what nobody really realizes is that the largest portion of their audience is aged 20 to 30 years old. It's already young people.
Wait a minute. The largest percentage of opera's audience is in their 20s?
That's what he said. You don't think so?
I don't know. Every time I go, I don't see many youngs.
When was the last time you went to the ballet or to the opera? The last time you went to the ballet, it was probably when your daughter was in it. So there probably were a lot of young people there.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. But that's just a surprising thing if they're saying, hey, the young people really, they already love the ballet and the opera. Well, good. Then you should have a great future. Well, what does he say?
He said it boosted sales.
Yeah, for how long?
His comment was good news for both communities, boosted sales at the time. He said that he tried to react to Timothy Chalamet's comment by not being a smart aleck about it, just by saying, maybe you're not right about this. You should take a look at what we're doing. Take a look at who's coming to see us now. And that's when he said that the largest portion of their audience is in the 20 to 30-year-old range. He said his post, the Royal Ballet and Opera post, got 2.5 million engagements, 500,000 shares just on Instagram, and their ticket sales got an immediate boost. Now, I think it's probably too soon to tell how long that boost will last, but maybe maybe this is a good strategy for them in the future. Get, some other people to say something a little disrespectful, and then you can turn that into new interest.
I would be surprised if at this moment that has been is still sustained.
I don't know.
I look. It was a mood. People, hey, what are you talking about? I mean, we ballet's good, opera's good, and people went and I thought the smartest stuff was the marketing where they said, I mentioned Timothy Chalamet and get 10% off this weekend only.
Yeah.
I saw that. Seattle Ballet did that.
Did they really?
Yeah, they had a thing that immediately they put an ad up and went all over the place on the internet. And I thought, well, that's fun.
I've been to the Seattle Ballet.
Yeah, there you go. So I thought that's fun. That's a good way to deal with it. But long term, most likely.
I don't know.
Most likely what he said is true. And it doesn't mean it's bad. You can have things that don't have lots and lots of people going to it that are still important to have. And you find a few people that want to fund. They're the funders of the arts, not the thunders of the arts, but they're the funders of the arts. And great, some foundation, they want a more peaceful, verdant world, then, take their money. But that doesn't mean it's more popular.
Did you see that Sydney Sweeney is selling for American Eagle again?
Is she really?
She is.
Good for her.
Yeah, I don't think
like to see that.
It's maybe shorts this time, maybe not blue jeans. I don't know. But
I
did. I mean, I think it's exactly like this. My kids kind of made fun of me a little bit because when that happened, I thought that was so misinterpreted, and so many people were so misguided in what it meant and what that copy meant that I went went to American Eagle and I spent some money just not in support of Sydney Sweeney, but in support of that business. Yeah. And when I came across an ad again recently with Sydney Sweeney, and I'm no huge fan of Sydney Sweeney by any means, but I saw her there again, back for more, and I thought, I wonder if I should go buy some stuff at American Eagle. I don't know. I don't know that I will.
That's good.
But that's what the whole reason I did it was to support a company that I thought was kind of being unreasonably attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like that. I do like the fact, and I don't think I've seen her in very much, maybe one thing, but I know she's in a pretty offensive thing, but.
She's in several pretty offensive things.
But what I did like is that she didn't back away. Mm-hmm. We live in a world where if you come out and you say something that isn't like wildly liberal, if you don't wear the ribbon. Yeah. I mean, go back to Seinfeld. Who will not wear the ribbon? If you don't wear the ribbon, you're pilloried. Yeah. And I like the fact that she was like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you do that. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that sort of defiance. Of the the system.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say my kids made fun of me. They thought that was an odd choice of something. If I was going to get behind a cause, they were kind of surprised that was it. But I had a cute sweatshirt out of it.
There you go. That is the Wilder Show podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Wilder Show Pod. You'll search for that, and you find it and like it and pass it on to your friends and all that. If you want to send us email, just email podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube. We're also on the TikTok now and again. Engage, would you? Would you comment and all those things wherever you find us on those platforms? Engage, like, rate, follow, subscribe, share. Give us the thumbs up wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. And tell your friends. And Lauren, thank you.
You bet.
And we'll see you next time.
da 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 da